Our film will talk about the oil market competition between Saudi Arabia and Iran and cooperation prospect. Our team members include Leila Zhang, Yijiao Liu, Fengyu Cao, and Xiaoyi Wang. The top export destinations of Saudi Arabia include North America and Central America, China, the US, Japan, and other Asian countries. Among these single countries, China and the US are the major importers of products from Saudi Arabia. In 2013, Saudi Arabia exported $633 billion, making it the fifth largest exporter in the world. During the last 5 years, the exports of Saudi Arabia have increased at an annualized rate of 3.1%, from $543 billion in 2008 to $633 billion in 2013. The most recent exports are led by crude petroleum, which represent 83.1% of the total exports of Saudi Arabia, followed by refined petroleum, which account for 4.81%. The top import origins of Saudi Arabia are China at $19.8 billion, the United States at $18.5 billion, Germany at $12.1 billion, South Korea at $9.6 billion, and India at $8.44 billion. In 2013, Saudi Arabia imported $165 billion, making it the 29th largest importer in the world. During the last 5 years, the imports of Saudi Arabia have increased at an annualized rate of 8.3%, from $111 billion in 2008 to $165 billion in 2013. The most recent imports are led by cars, which represent 8.62% of the total imports of Saudi Arabia, followed by refined petroleum, which account for 3.6%.
The top export destinations of Iran are China $22.9 billion, India $9.1 billion, Japan $6.18 billion, South Korea $4.99 billion, and Turkey $1.3 billion. The top exports of Iran are crude petroleum $3.31 billion, ethylene polymers $2.49 billion, iron ore $2.02 billion, and refined petroleum $1.31 billion, using the 1992 revision of the HS classification. The top import origins are China $13.7 billion, India $5.4 billion, South Korea $4.5 billion, Turkey $4.1 billion, and Ghana $3.2 billion. Its top imports are cocoa beans $3.2 billion, rice $2.5 billion, gold $1.7 billion, soybean meal $1.5 billion, and wheat $1.3 billion.
As the largest free economic market in the Middle East and North Africa, Saudi Arabia has free trade agreements with the Greater Arab Free Trade Area, the European Free Trade Association, and Singapore. However, Saudi Arabia has very difficult time selling oil because its rivals are going to a crowded market in a very aggressive way. To stabilize its oil market share, Saudi Arabia is launching a price war against the United States, Russia, and Iran. It has declared war on American oil production with the intention of making the country more dependent on imported oil. Saudi has been increasing oil production to squeeze out competition from U.S. oil producers. By refusing to cut production and bringing down the oil price, Saudi is likely to make the American oil producers no longer profitable.
Now let's take a look at the economy of Iran. The economy of Iran is a mixed and transition economy with a large public sector. It is dominated by oil and gas production, although over 40 industries are directly involved in the stock exchange. With 10% of the world's proven oil reserves and 15% of its gas reserves, Iran is considered an energy superpower. Petroleum consisted of 80% of Iran's exports, with a value of $47 billion in 2006. Iran has held observer status at the WTO. It hasn't joined the WTO. Following the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the United States imposed sanctions against Iran and expanded them into 1995 to include firms dealing with the Iranian government. The sanctions has been lifted recently.